first of all, mate, before we go on the football, how mad is this? I mean, social distancing, self-isolating, it's crazy, isn't it?
It's ridiculous. It's just bonkers. Everyone's obviously understandably taking advantage of various different organisations and bodies and governments and what have you, but certainly an unprecedented time. I don't think anyone's ever seen anything quite like this before. I was bored at my mind yesterday, so up to Ben Lomond for the day. I think everyone else had the same idea though, because it was absolutely rammed. Laddie's taking up bags of cans and all that sort of stuff. It was good. It was good. This time people need to be a bit cautious. Try and stay safe. Hopefully it doesn't spread too much, and then invariably in the next few weeks, months, what have you, people will start to get back on their feet, get back to normal, and we can hopefully resume the season.
Aye. Well, I feel like I need to preface everything that I'm saying by obviously like people's health's the main thing in it. But we're obviously here to talk about football. That's what the channel is about. A couple of weeks ago, mate, sailing towards 9 in a row. We were just counting the games down, weren't we? And here we are now. I can't believe. I remember before it really got to the UK, like people starting to make jokes about it and all that, like, oh, maybe that's the only thing that will stop us now. And no football until the 30th April at least. So crazy.
If then though, I don't. That's their time frame that they've sort of aimed to work towards. There's no guarantee that that's going to happen. There seems to be such uncertainty now. There's no guarantee that anything will happen. So, as it stands, I'd probably take that with a pinch of salt. I wouldn't be fixated on that. My hope is that it resumes. My hope is that the remaining 8 games can be played. I wouldn't put all my eggs in one basket right now with that date, because invariably things can change and it could potentially get moved back. There's talk that it could be scrapped altogether. And in the scheme of things, when it comes to health and things like that, football invariably will be put on the back burner for a short period of time. Yeah.
I think most people have said, like, obviously, it being back after April the 30th is like there's very little chance of that. They're saying obviously the peak's still a bit away. But UEFA have obviously had their meetings, the SPL have had meetings. UEFA want everybody to try and finish. But I mean, I think the English Premier League came out and said they've set the intention, they do want to complete the season by the 30th of June. But for the SPFL's meeting the other day, I don't think anything really came out of it. I heard a few journalists talking about it and stuff, like there was very little progress. We're all a bit in limbo, so it just leads to everybody speculating, everybody's debating what's going to happen. Obviously, people are talking about getting awarded the title early. Is it going to be cancelled, made void? I mean, surely they can't avoid it after 30 games.
I think that would be ridiculously harsh. I think it would be the sensible approach. I totally appreciate, as I said earlier, that there's different things going on at the moment that will take precedent over football. But as far as the football governing bodies are concerned, they should be advocating for all clubs, not necessarily just the well-being and the sort of the benefit of the top teams, because invariably they'll be potentially punished most. Because if you've had such a good campaign, you need to look at the lower stage of the leagues as well. You need to look at clubs that this could financially potentially ruin. You've already seen earlier on with teams like your Burys, your Boltons, the financial implications that that's had with regards to the stranglehold of wealth in the top echelons of English football. And you look further afield and they're being almost decimated in the lower reaches. Scotland works like some households. It works week to week, month to month. A lot of the football clubs don't have any cash. So if you go to set, I'm not going to start naming them and things like that, but if you look at your third, your second, your first divisions, there's teams in the third division that get less money than junior teams do. Like teams like Celtic Hearts are packing in cash, and you compare and contrast that to some teams like, in the second division even, and they don't have that kind of cash. There's a huge gulf with regards to the financial disparity between your Celtic, for example, who can absorb hits. And even if you look in our own league, teams like Hamilton and things like that, look just further across the city in the south side, they will be toiling. And I mean toiling. And the main thing I would hope for, in all seriousness, is that people's jobs don't get put at risk by this.
Yeah.
But that is the reality of the current situation. I think to scrap the league altogether would be totally unnecessary. But I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I personally, if it meant the games were advised by whoever, governing bodies or health professionals, that a crowd shouldn't be there, but the players, each to a man, are deemed to be fit enough, purely because it's unprecedented terms, I would not happily, but I would reluctantly accept if the games had to be played behind closed doors, just to get the season finished. I'd rather play 8 games behind closed doors and the season comes to a natural conclusion and we're deemed champions on our own merit, as opposed to either 1, be given a title, or 2, be scrapped entirely. I think that would be ridiculous. So it's the lesser of evils. If that's the option, I take it.
Aye, 100%. I wanted to ask you about behind closed doors though, because that's probably the only way I can see it going, if they're going to get it finished, depending obviously how much worse the situation gets. Obviously, if you look at the statement that Rangers put out, they're completely opposed to playing behind closed doors. I think that seems as much about their financial situation as anything else. But it does nod towards a lot of clubs in Scotland rely on their match day income. So are they going to be able to cope with the financial impact of playing behind closed doors?
So there now, maybe you could say it's somewhat dismissive or arrogant from a Celtic perspective, because we could potentially or would cope with the ability to play behind closed doors. But say, for example, our opposition was St Johnstone, Hamilton, Kilmarnock, whoever it may be, even the Rangers. If you look now, obviously the stats and the figures have come out recently, 43% of Scottish football clubs' income, the highest proportion of all income in Scottish football, is generated from the support. Now, the support in Scotland per head per population, we are a better supported nation on paper than any other league in Europe. So the clubs rely massively. We don't have the luxury or the benefit, or I would actually call it a noose around our neck of, Sky Sports and things like that. The clubs up here don't really have financial revenues or streams to be able to challenge on a different platform. So it's totally and utterly prevalent that they get the fans through the doors. You look at Livingston, for example. Livingston have 1,000 season, well, actually 996, less than 1,000 season ticket holders. They need bums on seats. If you look at the situation with the game against St Johnstone, Russ, you get 3 stands. Livingston, 3 stands. They need that money. From a home fan's perspective, it's not ideal. You wouldn't want to turn up at a game and feel like you're an away supporter at your own ground, but they need money. For them to be able to contemplate and fathom playing behind closed doors, I think it would pretty much ruin them. And as I said earlier on, a lot of these clubs in our league as well, which is quite crazy considering you've got players at our club getting 30 grand a week. But we operate in a different market. We're non-debt and we're self-sufficient in that capacity. A lot of clubs can't generate the money we get. They don't have the same volume of supporters, and they don't have the same volume of external revenues, such as the new Adidas deal and so on and so forth. So, and they obviously can't sell players as well for 25 million quid. So, for them to play behind closed doors, I just think would be disastrous. I think it would, for a few clubs anyway, and I wouldn't like to predict or speculate on this, but I really do think that a few clubs would go to the wall. I think it'd be a nail in their coffin. Playing behind closed doors would be about as bad as just stopping the season, because if they can't get money and they can't get televised, they're not going to make a bolt, and they won't be able to sustain a campaign. You look at Hearts. Hearts are a big team, good infrastructure. Yeah. Well, I mean, I was quite scunnered to hear the fact that asked everyone to take a pay cut. I would have no problem in guys that are getting 3-4 grand a week asking to maybe take a hit or potentially support local community-based organisations and charities through a difficult time, support guys that say they have supporters, that maybe you could put a fund in place to mitigate some of the financial concerns if they're self-employed. They've been made unemployed and so on and so forth. But to be asking people that are cleaners and all that sort of stuff to take a 50% hit, it's madness, and it kind of shows you where we're at. So if you've got a club the size of Hearts and they're asking everyone to take a 50% pay cut, then I can guarantee a pound to a penny that there's other teams in our league and further afield that they'll fold like cards.
Aye, hopefully it doesn't come to that. As I say, I think behind closed doors is probably the best way of getting the season done. But as you say, it's the lesser of 2 evils, and nobody wants to certainly from a fan's point of view, like it's no football. You see the games in Europa League and stuff that were played behind closed doors. It's soulless. Like it's nothing without the supporters, obviously. But did you see that they awarded the Highland League to Brora Rangers yesterday?
I
15
seen that.
points clear with 6 to go.
It's actually myself.
Aye. So
they said it was insurmountable.
Say what?
They said that the quote was it was insurmountable.
Right, insurmountable. Aye.
So,
well, aye. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, it looks like we're just in limbo, and as you say, the financial implications of playing behind closed doors might mean that some Scottish clubs can't cope with that. But I mean, I was just saying a couple of weeks ago when we were starting to stretch away with the lead and stuff that I still wanted a moment. I still wanted 9 in a row when we win it for there to be a big moment left. That we can sell. I don't want it to be like an anticlimax where we're just ticking by week to week and we end up winning at a canter like we've done in the past couple of seasons. But now
turning a park with face masks on, giving a onto with pyro. Yes.
Aye. It might turn out that the moment is some guy reading a sheet of paper saying that's it, we're awarding the title. So that'd be a huge anticlimax. But I mean, what do you think? Just finish up. I don't want to keep you too long, mate. What do you think is the most likely outcome for here? Obviously, I seen the Motherwell chief executive yesterday saying he's on the SPFL board. He was saying they're very much waiting for the next week or two to get some clarity for the government on what's going to happen, how much worse the situation is going to get before they make any decisions. But we're all in limbo now, and I mean, what do you think is going to happen?
It is really so tough to speculate. I always think he speaks so well, and the format and the way that Motherwell have handled their business is exemplary. A lot of clubs in Scotland could take head of that and actually try and replicate that fan-owned, the way that they engage with their fans, the different projects that are put in place. I think they're a fantastically well-run club, Motherwell, and I think that should be the model, in my opinion, for Scottish football, because I think if you put that infrastructure in, then in the future, you mitigate some things like this, that is external circumstances way out with your control. You have a wee bit more cohesion within your strategy, and it's not necessarily your week-to-week forecasts. Personally speaking, I think that the league will look to be resumed. I cannot see them giving Celtic the title. I think I just couldn't see it happening. There's a lot less controversy associated with giving Brora Rangers a Highland League than there would be giving Celtic 9 in a row. I think that they would look to try and resume it. When that is, as I said earlier on, I don't know. There will invariably be a lot of meetings and a lot of questions to be asked prior to facilitating sporting events that could potentially have 60,000, between 6 and 60,000 attending. That'll have to be seriously scrutinised and looked into, considering that things in June already have been cancelled. I'm going to the high. Well, I was meant to be going to the high job with my pals for the thing, Open Goal. So that's obviously not going to be happening because they've prolonged it, procrastinated to another date. So it's very hard to see how they're going to facilitate these volumes of people mass gathering when that's the general consensus has been don't do that. And we're not talking about a huge time frame here. We're only talking about the end of April. I personally, as I said earlier on, I want to see the games be played. I want to be at a Celtic game. I said yesterday, it's like a bereavement. I'm missing. Mad, I never thought I would miss. And the thing is with Celtic as well, and the thing with so many football clubs, it's not just about 11 guys running a football pitch. Celtic's massive. Celtic can come to his life. And it's been said before, and it'll be said again, without it, your life would be empty indeed. So, and it's so much more than going along and watching 22 guys in a football pitch and predominantly scrutinising and just watching 11 Celtic players. It's everything that goes with it. It's the social dynamic. It's the understanding, the culture. There's so many different facets that make Celtic what Celtic is. And currently, the one saving grace for me is the fact that the club have kind of honed in, recognised the need to show a bit of solidarity in their supporting people less vulnerable and bringing them into Parkhead. That's what Celtic is all about. It's the reason Celtic started, and it should never ever change. But I don't know. I'm missing it massively. I want the games to come back. I just want to get back to Parkhead. I want to go and see the games again. I want to go and watch Celtic, and I want us to win 9 in a row on our own merits, on our own pitch, in front of our own fans. But I don't know. There's so many different variables now. There's so many things up in there. Considering the fact that most experts don't know, it's very obviously hard for us to speculate opinion. It almost seems like I'm unqualified to kind of give my narrative on it. Personally speaking, I just want Celtic to come back. And as I said earlier, for so many and for so much that's going on in society, it's not necessarily prevalent just now. Football, obviously, invariably, like everything else, will take a back seat while different things are sorted, things are put into place. My main focus and concern would be for people like NHS staff and all that. They're going through the ringer now, and they're working tirelessly. So when that sort of calms down, and hopefully it will, then we'll get back to focusing on what we all love, and hopefully the games come back. I want there to be the games played. I want Celtic to play out the remaining matches, hopefully continue on the run of form we were on predating the stop of the league. And the good thing is the anticipation would be massive. You factor in a bevy ban currently on boozers and Celtic coming back. Oh my God. Imagine the first game back at Parkhead. It would get 60,000 you've ever seen in your life. The first goal against Kilmarnock or something will get celebrated like we'd beat Barcelona. It'll be unbelievable. Anyway.
I can't wait as well, man. I'm really missing it. I don't know how people who don't like football or don't like sport, I don't know how they get by, man. Yesterday, I
was climbing home just the freezing. I was like, what do you do on a Saturday? Like, who doesn't like football?
I know.
This was really put in perspective for people as well.
I didn't know what to do myself yesterday. Anyway, hopefully it gets back, man. Hopefully see you soon at the games. And like you say, we can get it done on our own merit. We don't want any fans of other teams saying that we were awarded it. We want to get it done on our own merit. Thanks for your time, man. Thanks for your time. Stay safe.
Man, good luck to you.
Yes, see you soon, man.
Thank you.